What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 10, The Next World. I'm usually really full of praise for this show, because normally they do a really good job, week after week, of delivering quality episodes. Some are great, like last week, some are good. And then there's the occasional episode that just kind of, it's there and then it's gone. You just kind of forget about it. This is probably the first episode where I just out and out did not like it. And it sounds weird because everybody's freaking out right now. For several reasons. They're talking about, oh, how great it is, how nice it is after a stressful last week to kind of have a relaxed episode and blah blah blah, oh yay, Rick and Michonne, woohoo. I'm not one of those people. And it's funny because I'm also not one of the people that constantly, hates on it week after week. Because I know several people like that. My brother's one of those people that just can't stand whenever the episode takes a break from all of the, the intensity and the walkers and, killing people week after week. He doesn't like it when they take a break from that. And there are several people, I'm finding out more and more people are starting to feel that way. Like, whenever the show takes a break from the action, they like, oh, that's not a good episode, blah, 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 whatever. I'm not one of those people. I really do think, yeah, you have to take a break at some point. You can't do last week's episode week after week. You can't do that. You can't keep that type of intensity for 6 seasons with 16 episodes in each season. That's not possible. So you do have to take a break. You have to build character. You have to build story. I agree with that, but this episode, it was not that at all. And there's so many problems that I have with it. First of all, first problem I have, it didn't feel like The Walking Dead at all. This is the very first episode that felt like it was just trying to be a comedy. I mean, they were talking about how, they had them watch, what was the name of that? Oh, something in the Sundance show or picture. Crap, I can't remember the name of it now. But they had them watch something for that scene where they're chasing the guy around, and it didn't feel like Rick and Daryl at all. Because first of all, that's a truck full of food, and you're goofing around trying to tackle this guy? Really? Like, you couldn't just run him over or maybe just leave him alone? Like, okay, he was on top of the truck. We just knocked him off. Okay, see ya. And drive away? No, they had to chase him down. Rick had to go take care of some walkers while Daryl went one-on-one with them, even though they failed going one-on-one with them earlier. And then in the end, they lose the truck of food, and they're just like, wah, wah, wah. I mean, it did not feel like The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead that I know, even on the boring episodes where nothing's happening, it's building their characters. It's them struggling to survive, trying to find, more resources, trying to find more people to help them out, trying to find another new thing that will help them survive. This was like, yeah, we need food. Let's go get food. Oh, shucks, we didn't get food because we were too busy goofing around trying to tackle this guy. It's not The Walking Dead. That's not Rick and Daryl. Rick and Daryl are smarter than that. They would not let this truck full of food just slip into the pond because they're acting like idiots. And even the way they ended the episode with them, like, Rick looks at him and just, that was stupid. Yeah. We're doing it again tomorrow? Yeah. I'm just like, are you trying to be funny? Because that's not this show. That's not this show at all. And that's why I'm so frustrated. I like the fact that they try to take breaks from time to time. I don't mind that. But don't stop being the show that you are. Don't stop the intensity that you still bring, even in the episodes that aren't as action-packed as the others. At least you still have story building. You still have them doing something important. It still has a very serious feel to it. With they do have comedic moments thrown in, but they never have goofy, silly stuff. And so I didn't get that. I didn't get why it was in there. It was really frustrating. On top of that, you've got Oh crap! What was his name? I want to say Paul. Pretty sure his name was Paul. But everybody's calling him Jesus because he, looks like Jesus. You've got this guy, shows up, tackles Rick into the thing and they just immediately say, "Oh, okay, this guy's okay. We'll let him go." And then they hear shots, and then they go around back, and then next thing you know, oh, he's taking the truck. After all of this, he takes the truck. They find him. They take the truck back. He stows away on top of the truck. They shoo him off the truck, and then after the chase ensues, they lose the truck. They still take him back. They still take him back there to their place. So after Rick and Michonne get down, and then he shows up in their bedroom, I'm like, see, you guys are acting like idiots, and this is what happens. I'm totally okay with Rick being a bit more accepting of people coming in. I'm totally okay with the fact that he's trying to trust people. But there's a line. You have to have a line. And the fact that this guy is clearly not somebody you want. He's going to infiltrate and he's going to steal from you. He's not somebody you want hanging around. He's not somebody that you want to have to keep an eye on. And yet, let's just take him back to the base with us. Okay. I mean, sure. If if there was a guy who just pickpocketed my wallet, and then I tracked him down, and my wallet ended up in a pond or something where I couldn't get it back, yeah, I'd definitely take him back with me to keep him from harm. Because that's not going to backfire on me at all. Are you even thinking straight? I mean, seriously. This is The Walking Dead. This show, from the very first season, has perpetuated over and over again that you can't just trust people willy-nilly. I don't mind trusting people. I don't mind trying to get... But you can't just trust everybody. If anything, the Wolves have shown that. That is number one rule. You do not just trust anybody. You can't just, bring this guy... I don't care if he's injured. You do not just bring him... You put him in a building or something where the walkers can't get to him if you want to really make sure he doesn't die. But don't take him back to your place. I mean, that's just asking for trouble. And it's like they just don't even think of that. So, kind of, once again, it doesn't feel like The Walking Dead this episode. It doesn't feel like Rick and Daryl. They were acting like idiots. They let this guy... Well, Daryl actually protested against it because he was still dealing with a bit of trust issues from, what's their names? The two people that he tried to help out and they stole his stuff. He's still dealing with the trust issues from them, I think. And after what happened with Negan's little group. So, it was just... I don't know, like, Daryl was protesting against it, but Rick was just like, no, let's just go. I'm like, no. I get that you just realized you need to trust some people, but this is going too far. This is overcompensating. You've been over here for so long on the not trust anybody side. And so now that you switched over here, it's like, instead of just, we need to start trusting some people, but we can't get too crazy. No, you just went full crazy. You just said, let's just trust everybody. This guy, let's bring him along. Come on. Hey, you with the gun pointed at my head? Yeah, you want to come along too? Come on, buddy. Just, you don't want to put it down? Okay, you can keep it pointed at my head if you want to, but yeah, just come along. It's so stupid. And it didn't feel like The Walking Dead at all. So, that was frustrating. The Rick and Michonne thing, everybody's freaking out about it. They're like, yeah, woo, yeah. And at least all the women are, for sure. I don't know, like, how many men exactly are freaking out about it. But honestly, I was watching it with my mom and my brother, and my mom's reaction is exactly why I was just like, this doesn't feel right for this show. Because as soon as they started kissing, she's like, OMG. I'm just like, see, that's why. Like, all the girls are probably just like, OMG. But for me, I'm just like, really? Like, in the last episode, Rick's almost girlfriend got eaten by walkers. In this episode, you start off with them living together in a house, which, they've been, like, kind of together, but not together, for a while now. And honestly, it felt like Carl and Michonne had really developed, like, a brother-sister kind of relationship. And so to show them in the beginning and then show them at the end sitting on the couch together is not enough for me to be like, yeah, I want to see that. And it felt like the show was saying, you want to see this? This is exactly. And everybody's just like, yeah, this is what we wanted to see. And I'm like, did we though? Like, even with the stuff with Jesse, part of it, I did feel like was Rick needs that humanity in him again. So I don't mind seeing him have a love interest because, yeah, he's kind of not, he's becoming not human. So to see him start to love again kind of was building that storyline of becoming more human. This just felt like, well, we just had last episode where everything was intense. We need something this episode to keep the fans interested. I know, let's hook up Rick and Michonne because people have been talking about it for a little while now. Did you really have to? Like, it's one thing to have a relationship that's been just, they've been focusing on it. Honestly, I can't really think of any other time that this has really been touched on. They're clearly friends. They've had scenes together where you're just like, it feels like this is a leader and his apprentice. Like, Rick is a leader of the group, and Michonne is like his protege or something like that. Like, they have this respect for each other, but it never felt romantic. It never seemed like it was going to be romantic. It just felt like a really firm friendship. And so to make it romantic just kind of out of nowhere, just for fan service, I mean, I don't know if they actually did it because fans have been requesting it, but it really didn't feel like it was needed or really touched on enough for it to be a thing. And I'm just like, it felt forced in the end. It felt like, let's show a scene where she's like in a bathrobe and stuff and they're living in the same house, so that at the end, whenever it all works out and it's almost like it was destiny. Like, they were already living together, let's make it romantic. I'm like, for a show that is very smart about its decisions, the first half of the season, people didn't really like how, like, you had the whole thing with Glenn dying, and then the week after was Morgan's backstory. People didn't get it. I did. I was like, yeah, first of all, we need a break because of the intensity of what happened last week. Second, you need to kind of keep that in the dark for a little bit, because if you just said, oh, yep, he died, just kidding, he didn't, the next week, well, people wouldn't really feel anything for it. It's just like, oh, okay. That was a little... No, they had to build it up a little bit. I understand that. The Morgan episode itself was very good at building up this philosophy that this world is under. Do you completely give up your humanity to survive? Or do you not kill at all, trying to keep your humanity? Or do you find somewhere in the middle? I like that. It was good. It was well written. This just felt like we had a very intense first episode. Let's just goof around now, guys. Like, it didn't feel like there was any purpose to any of this at all. The whole goofing around, the Rick and Michonne thing, it just felt thrown in there for no reason. And I'm really frustrated by that. I'm frustrated that the show normally does so well. It's in my top 3. It's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Fargo, top 2, and then Walking Dead is very close third. But an episode like this makes me say, what were you thinking? What on earth was the thought process that said, let's just have like a little bit of comedic episode and then maybe throw in a little romance at the end and we'll call it a day. It wasn't The Walking Dead for me. It really wasn't. The characters were the same, but the attitudes, the story of this episode didn't feel like The Walking Dead. Now, that being said, there is one part of this episode that did feel like it. Spencer and Michonne out in the woods with Carl and Enid. That part of this episode did feel like The Walking Dead. And it was also very distracting because one second we get like, I'm trying to think of a good thing to call it. I really can't. I'll just call it slapstick. One second we have slapstick, and then the next second we're in the woods with Michonne and Spencer, and you just you feel like it's The Walking Dead again. So it's like slapstick, Walking Dead moment, Walking Dead, slapstick. This is a comedy, gets Walking Dead moment. I'm just like, wait. So you didn't want it to feel like the show here. Okay, I'm not going to say that they didn't want, but it doesn't feel like the show here, and yet it clearly feels like the show is still here. I didn't get that at all. Because the stuff going on with Spencer and Michonne, very good. At the scene where Spencer finally reveals why he's out there with looking for Deanna, because he had to kill her, or her walker or whatever, because he didn't want her to be a walker anymore. That was very good. The scene with Carl and Michonne, where Carl didn't stab Deanna because she's not family. He's like, I would do it for you. That's very good. That is a good scene. That is a good Walking Dead scene. The rest of the episode didn't feel like that. The stuff with Rick and Daryl, not at all. The stuff with Michonne and Spencer, it felt like The Walking Dead. I just don't understand why they split up the tone so much that it felt distracting. And I don't know. I really don't get it. And I'm really frustrated and confused at the same time. And also confused that some people really can't criticize the show for some reason. Like, I don't know. Some people are just so focused on one thing that they can't criticize it, because to criticize it would be blasphemy. Like, to say anything bad about the show, it's just, you're stupid. You're wrong. The show is amazing and nothing they do is ever wrong. That's not true. There have been a couple of episodes that just were kind of eh. This episode in particular was not a good one. Nothing bad about this show in general. I like this show. I really think it's a good show. I think the episodes that some of the haters of the show say are boring, I think are a good choice to kind of slow it down. But this episode was not good. They didn't keep the tone of the show. They just completely went off the rails, went into a completely different type of show for this episode. The tone was all over the place. The story was weird. And I don't know. It was so strange after such a strong episode last week. Why is it not? What do they do differently? Why did they do something different this week? Like, I don't know. I'm frustrated. I really am. Because it not only is it my birthday and I wanted a good Walking Dead episode, but also I don't want to see my favorite shows stop caring. Like, I've already seen one show, Bones, go off the rails completely and just give up almost. Like, it feels like they don't get it anymore. They're just throwing out crap week after week. I don't want that to start happening to any more of my shows. And this week it felt like they didn't care. They just put together an episode, said, okay guys, let's just go do it and get this episode done. I don't want that to keep happening, So, I don't know, I'm frustrated. Like I said, though, one of the bright sides was what happened with Spencer and Michonne, but it did end on kind of I'm going to call it an interesting note, in that this Paul guy shows up in the bedroom with Michonne and Rick, and he's just like, Rick, we need to talk. So I don't trust him. I feel like he's maybe a member of Negan's gang. Although then again, they're kind of making him seem untrustworthy. So I wonder, in TV shows generally, if they're forcing one side so much, it's generally the opposite. Like if they're forcing this one character, Look, guys, he's evil. You don't know much about him, but he's evil. Generally, it's misunderstood, and he's actually a good guy. Um, so I don't know if they did kind of force the point of this guy can't be trusted. So I don't know if that means that they're going to do the typical TV show thing and that he actually can be trusted, or if he really, if that he's just that type of guy, but he is actually a good guy. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but it is intriguing, so that will at least get me coming back next week. But overall, just didn't enjoy this, and that's unfortunate, but that's just how it is, and that's my opinion. What are yours? This is why my channel exists. I want to discuss things with people. I want to talk about what are your opinions. Let me know down in the comments. If you're one of the people that really did enjoy this episode, explain to me why. Probably not, probably not going to agree, but at least we can talk about it and discuss why. What do you want to see the rest of this season too? I do want to talk about that some. What do you hope that they do by the end of the season? And finally, a couple predictions on who do you think is going to bite the bullet by the end of this season. My prediction, personally, I'm thinking Spencer, most likely. The fact that he kind of turned a corner in this episode generally means in the next few episodes he's going to be gone. So I think Spencer's going to be gone soon. I think either Tara or Denise will be gone soon. I don't know. They're kind of blossoming that relationship a little bit. So I feel like one of them is going to die soon to make it heartbreaking. And I'm thinking either Glenn or Maggie. I hate to say it because I don't want to see either of them go because they're about to be parents. But I don't know. At the end of last season, I finished watching it before season 6 started, and I was making predictions. I was just like, I feel like Maggie's gonna die soon, and what's gonna make it even more heartbreaking is that we're gonna find out she's pregnant and then she's gonna die, and then we find out she's pregnant. I'm like, oh crap! Like, did I actually predict that right? So I'm thinking Spencer for sure. Either Denise or Tara, just to break that up a little bit, break some hearts, and either Glenn or Maggie to really, really, really tear us a new one. And it's going to be in season finale for them, of course, but I don't know. I feel like each season we're killing off somebody that we've been around for a few seasons or more. So I'm a little scared, but those are my predictions. What are yours? Let me know. And leave a like and subscribe for more Walking Dead, and I'll see you at the next review. Peace out.